On September 22, 2011, over 1,100 people gathered at the Seaport World Trade Center for the third annual dinner in celebration of the priesthood. The event raised $1 million to support the Clergy Benefit Trust, which provides for the health, welfare, and retirement benefits of all the active and senior priests in the Archdiocese of Boston. In addition to raising these much-needed funds, the celebration of the priesthood provided people with a chance to say thanks to more than 700 priests in the Archdiocese whose presence over the years has had a meaningful and positive impact on their lives. The video we are about to show highlights 5 of our diocesan priests who have done their work quietly throughout the years and dedicated their lives in service to the people in the Church of Boston.
Let there be peace on earth, let there be peace in our hearts, let there be peace in our city.
Oh God, if you would only let me get back to home at the end of this, I will become a priest.
I'm inspired by our students. I'm challenged by our students.
And with tears in his eyes, he told his whole life story.
And right when he said it, it spoke right to my heart. And I kind of thought, I feel like he's speaking directly to me.
I'm in North Dorchester, 3 parishes. Well, even a couple nights ago, there was a shooting, a killing. And the next porch over, there were like 8 or 9 kids, young kids. Sometimes there's no magical words, but just being present and listening, because sometimes there's a lot of anger coming out or confusion. And just, hoping the Spirit gives you a few words that you can bring some calm.
Wait for you that they accept the things they cannot change, Lord, and to give them the strength.
We'll actually walk the streets. We always go to murder sites. So we'll actually go to the sites, we'll pray, we remember the person that was killed, but also their family and friends who still are traumatized by the event. But we also end up with like a cookout, so we're together, so we see each other, we connect with one another, we enjoy each other's company, and we realize that, life isn't always the violence that, consumes us.
Father Fagan's life is an extraordinary story of service to the poor and those in need. Even after contracting an illness in South America that left him permanently disabled, he continued his vocation in the priesthood and never let his physical disability get in his way.
I work out at the clubs at the Charles River over here. I was in the middle of doing exercises, and this man came up to me and said, "Father, can I talk to you after you finish?" And I said, sure. So I finished, and we went outside and he talked, and he hadn't been to confession in many years. He said, he said, I've been watching you, he said, and your perseverance and your intensity of getting well, he said, in a wheelchair, he said, has just moved me, he said. And with tears in his eyes, he told his whole life story. And why would I be working out pressing iron and having that man watching me? I wasn't even aware he's been watching me. I've been going there for over a year. And this man has been watching me. I didn't even know who he was. And I said, when I came back here, I said, see what, you want me to do that exercise, even though I hate doing it. You have worked through pumping iron to bring somebody back to you. So I think there's where the presence is, and I don't have a collar on, I'm dressed to physically work out, so obviously he does not know, I don't think he knows, but he does know. He does know, because the Lord spoke to him. And I believe that's what I call amazing grace.
Monsignor Els is a wonderful example of the priesthood. He has led quite a dynamic life. From protecting the country as a World War II pilot, throughout the years of charity work for the community. Even at age 90, he continues his ongoing commitment.
We were day in and day out always seeing somebody, the whole plane go down, and it was very painful and fearful and frightening, and it was very different than European pilots. Either way, I was always saying the rosary and saying, oh God, if you would only let me get back to home at the end of this, I will become a priest. But eventually I did take the plea that I got from God to come and become a priest. And it has been a joyful life for me And as I live today, I think I would never have lived as far as I am now had I not been praying as much as I did while I was flying an airplane.
It is kind of different for people to see a younger priest because doesn't happen too often. But for myself, I am young, I'm 26 years old. I entered the seminary right out of high school, so I kind of went in as early on as I could. I never really thought about the priesthood too much growing up, but more going into high school, my sophomore year in high school when I was confirmed, that's when I really started to think about the priesthood. And actually it was the day of my confirmation. And the bishop who confirmed me met with all of the confirmation candidates and their sponsors before the confirmation mass. And he said a number of things, but one of the things he said was, to you young men, I want you to think about the priesthood. He said it's a challenging calling, but it's a calling in which you'll receive great joy if that's what the Lord is calling you to. So he said, I really want you to pray about it and think about whether this is something for you.
Oftentimes, the relationships that you build, whether with your parishioners or in my case with some of my students, obviously is a deeper relationship. You really try to meet them and let them meet you and to talk about things that they're interested in. I find that as you're able to engage people and find out what they're interested in and have them talk a little bit about their life, and then you, in a natural way, share some of your life, you become a more multi-dimensional person.
It's rewarding, and that might never be the right word, but it's fun, it's fulfilling, you also realize you're making a difference in some people's lives, and they're making a difference in your life as well. It goes back and forth.
I think of so many people whose lives were touched in a positive way, for example, by a priest. But that priest may not know that, and he may have his doubts about whether what he did even matters. And so, the 5 minutes that it would take to write a letter could express for thousands of other people that, yes, we are grateful that your gift really does matter, that we treasure you and we treasure that gift.
If you could remember those who have touched your life, and how can you say thank you? First of all, prayer, but secondly, your presence, your availability, and also have compassion for those who have given their lives in service to others. And perhaps somebody here might be touched to do the same. You don't need a caller for that.
You have just met 5 priests who have been present for you. Now we ask that you be present for them. Write him a note or go see him or tell him how much he has meant in your life. Before leaving the celebration of the priesthood dinner, 400 guests took the time to write notes to the senior priests who have meant so much to them and their families. And it was such a powerful testament to the meaningful impact that these men have had on so many people. If you are so moved to contribute to the Clergy Benefit Trust, you can do that by visiting our website, celebrationofthepriesthood.org. Or you may call 617-779-3733, or write a check to Clergy Benefit Trust, the Archdiocese of Boston Pastoral Center, 66 Brooks Drive, Braintree, Massachusetts, 02184. On behalf of all of our priests, both senior and active, we thank you for your support.